that? It's back. Why are we doing it again? Because before, we had to use the calculator to figure part B out. Well, now we can do it by hand. And if I remember last time, we changed it to 1,000,000. I guess I'll just X all that out. So if you would go back in your notes, because we don't have to do part A again, because we already did part A. I'll give you a hint. It was y equals. All right, so part A we did last class. That's where you put all the data in. I think the hardest part was people knowing how many months were in a year, right? Yeah. Other than that, you put it in your calculator. Go to town. So part B, we're now going to do algebraically. So by saying, when will there be 1,000,000 apps in the Android App Store? Remember, we're solving for X, because X is time, in this case. So since Y is already, since number of apps is in thousands, what number do I put in for Y? A 1,000. Because remember, 1,000 thousands is 1,000,000. So now we're in what type of equation? Where's the variable? It's an exponential equation because the variable is in the exponent. Okay. Now previously we had exponential equations and we could write them as the same base. This one we're not going to be able to write them as the same base. You're not going to be able to write 1,000 easily anyways as 1.1728 to a certain pretty number. So in this case, we go back to our definition of a log. We have to use a logarithm here to solve. However, in order to use a logarithm, you have to isolate this exponential term, namely this guy here, by itself. So just like before where we had to write 2 logs as 1, this guy, we have to get rid of that coefficient to 2.0089. Notice we're currently multiplying the base by the base and the exponent by 2.0089. How do we undo that? You divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 2.0089. Oh, 8, 9, I got it. Here's the deal. Do not plug 1,000 divided by 2.0089 into your calculator and write that decimal down, because that decimal is an approximation. It's not going to help us. In fact, just leave that alone. I know it's ugly. It's going to be okay. All right, so we have 1,000 divided by 2.0089. I just thought of another comeback for that, but we're past it now. Equals 1.1728 raised to the x. All right, so we have something of the form a to the y equals x. So we have to rewrite it as a logarithm, log base a of x equals y. So what's the base of the exponent? What's the base of the log going to be? So we're going to have log base 1.1728 of 1,000 over 2.0089 equals x. So when you woke up this morning, put your feet in the ground, got ready for school, you're like, I hope that I get to see log base 1.1728 of 1,000 over 2.0089 today. Your wish is granted. But now we got to put that in the calculator, because if you told people, well, that's clearly how many years after, or how many months after December 2008, there'll be a million apps, they'll look at you weird, surprisingly. So how do we put this into the calculator? If only there was a rule for that. The change of base rule. So we can rewrite this as the log of 1,000 over 2.0089 divided by the log of 1.1728. Now when you put this in your calculator, be sure to close off the parenthesis after the 2.0089. And remember, X is the number of months after December 2008. I think that's right. I got 38.96. I'll write it over here. So you should say log parenthesis, 1,000 divided by 2.0089 parenthesis divided by log 1.1728. And will we get 38.96? So again, do not round that to 39 because then you're going into the next month. So 38 months after December 2008 would be March? February? That's right, because there's 12 months in a year. February of 2012? February 2012.